Haynes will be relieved, and I can't tell who's going to come in. It is going to be Grover Cleveland Alexander. Old Pete will come on. Again, the runners take their long two-out, bases-loaded lead. He pitches. Swung on and missed for strike three. And that is all for the New York Yankees in the last half of the seventh inning, as Old Pete comes in a situation that will go down as one of the most dramatic moments in all sports, and strikes out Push-em-up Lazari with the bases full.
Perhaps the game's most consistent right-handed hitter ever, Rogers Hornsby captured 7 batting titles, including 6 in a row, averaging better than 400 3 times. A complete player whose passion for the game was shown both on and off the field, Hornsby's .424 mark in 1924 is a 20th century National League record. He ended his career with a lifetime batting average of .358. The Raja, a 2-time MVP and Triple Crown winner, was the player-manager of the Cardinals' first World Championship team in 1926. Hornsby was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1942.
He was a home run hitter before home run hitters were popular. He was the first National League player to hit 300 home runs. Hornsby is one of the only players in baseball history not only to win the Triple Crown, he's the only National Leaguer to have won 2 Triple Crowns, and he's one of only 2 Major Leaguers in the history of baseball to have won more than 1 Triple Crown, joining only Ted Williams. Rogers Hornsby's hitting statistics are really unprecedented. He has the modern Major League record for batting average in one season with .424 in 1924. He also has the career batting average mark with .359 for his career as a Cardinal. He topped 400 3 times in 4 years. He won the 1925 National League Most Valuable Player Award. He won 6 consecutive National League batting titles as a Redbird. Rogers Hornsby ranks among the top 5 in team history in runs, hits, doubles, triples, and runs batted in. Rogers Hornsby was asked to step in as a player-manager to finish off the 25 season, and then the owner asked him to stay in that role as a player-manager for the 26 campaign. Hornsby took on the role and led the Cardinals to their first World Championship in franchise history. As Hornsby started his career with the Cardinals, he really intended to end his career with the Cardinals as well, returning in 1933. But during the middle of that season, the American League St. Louis Browns offered him their managerial post. Rogers Hornsby, one of the greatest Cardinals of all time, and Rogers Hornsby is the greatest right-handed hitter in the history of baseball.
Jim Bottomley earned Frankie Frisch's praise as the best clutch hitter I ever saw. The graceful first baseman with the sunny disposition drove in 100 or more runs 6 years in a row, leading the National League twice. He set a Major League record with 12 RBI in a single game when he went 6 for 6 on September 16, 1924, with 2 homers and a double against Brooklyn. He was the National League MVP in 1928. Bottomley was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1974.
Known as the Fordham Flash, Frankie Frisch was an all-around athlete who jumped directly from college to the New York Giants. He played on 8 pennant-winning teams in 19 seasons. A fine switch hitter, Frisch compiled a run of 11 straight 300 seasons. As player-manager with St. Louis, he instilled the rollicking all-out style of hard-nosed play that prompted sports writers to tab the Cardinals the Gas House Gang. Frisch was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1947.
Here I am again, folks.
Pepper Martin had a knack for leaving an impression. Unbridled on the field, lighthearted and conscientious off of it. Those attributes earning him a spot in the 2017 Cardinals Hall of Fame class. His daughter, Jenny Weathersby, celebrating her late father's accomplishment with a first pitch on April the 30th.
He said he'd play for nothing. He loved the game so much. And he grew up in a poor family, very, very poor. And when he made it to, he loved to play ball so much, and when he made it to the Cardinals, He, I guess, just let everything roll.
Like the rest of the Gas House gang, Martin played hard and cracked wise.
Let's change the tune, fellas. Let's put some gas in the Gas House gang. Bueno?
Yeah, let's go out and play some baseball.
Dubbed Pepper because he brought spice to the game. But at his core, he was just a family man from Oklahoma.
I loved seeing Daddy come having a box seat, and he'd always come and give us a smile before he went down the dugout. I loved that. That's my daddy. I was proud of him.
Martin had another famous pregame routine. He invented playing Pepper, one of the Gas House gang's most famous antics, but not the thing which cemented his legacy here in St. Louis. Instead, that was his sizzling .418 World Series average.
That was the end, and you'd gotten that far, and you better win.
Martin managed and did some radio work later in life, but mostly he just enjoyed being back home with family and friends in Quinton, Oklahoma. Reporting for Cardinals Insider, I'm Brett McMillan.
J. Hannah Dizzy Dean, the brash Cardinals fireballer, burst upon the big league scene in 1932 and averaged 24 wins over his first 5 full campaigns. A winner of 4 National League strikeout crowns, Diz was the last NL pitcher to record 30 wins with a record of 30-7 in 1934, when he and his brother Paul led the Gas House gang to the World Championship. A broken toe suffered in the 1937 All-Star Game led to an arm injury that eventually shortened his playing days. He later embarked on a successful broadcasting career. Dean was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1953.
World Series time 25 years ago, opening in Detroit. Tiger manager Mickey Cochrane and Frank Frisch of the Cardinals exchanging handshakes. One of the stars of that memorable series, Dizzy Dean, who pitched the Tigers to a standstill, as Frisch led a scoring barrage by the freewheeling Cardinals. Collins scores. Batting star of this series was Ducky Medwick, hitting bad ones and making them look good. From the first game to the last, his powerful bat spelled trouble for the Tiger mound staff. But Medwick was more renowned for his on-field
tactics. It's the
tactics.
7th game of the 1934 World Series. The Cards' Joe Medwick barrels into Tiger third baseman Marv Owen and nearly starts a riot.
When he went out to left field to begin the next inning, people began pelting him with debris. Judge Kennesaw Landis decided, given that the game was already out of hand and it was the 7th game, that he would be removed for his own safety. In the year that if 37, of course, he led in 10 of the 12 offensive categories that they kept track of. His last Triple Crown, now 80 years this year, it still stands. I think there's a lot of pride that the family still has on his achievements.
Johnny Mize, the burly first baseman for the Cardinals and Giants, held at least a share of the National League lead in home runs 4 times, hitting 3 in a single game on 6 occasions. He also won 3 RBI crowns and 1 batting championship. After the Big Cat joined the Yankees, they won 5 straight World Series titles from 1949 to 53, with Mize hitting 3 home runs in the 1952 Fall Classic. He finished his career with 359 home runs and a lifetime .312 batting average. Mize was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1981.
Marion fouled out. And then Bourbon singles to left field, scoring Sanders to give the Cardinals a 1-run lead. Pitcher Lanier follows with a sharp single to center, driving in Karofsky with the 3rd run of the inning. The Cards lead 3-1. There was no further scoring, and here we are with the Browns batting in the 9th. After McQuinn fouled out, pinch hitter Burns fanned. Chartzak batted for catcher Hayworth, and Wilkes, who did a fine job as relief pitcher for Lanier, struck him out, ending the 6th and final game of the series by a score of 3-1. The jubilant Cardinals mobbed Ted Wilkes,
This victory brought them the World Series title 4-2 in the first All St. Louis series.
Series fans thronged the Sportsman's Park in St. Louis to witness the 7th and deciding game for the World's Baseball Championship. Ferris pitching for Boston and Dixon starting for the Cardinals, right along on a tie score until the second half of the 5th, when Dixon faces his mound opponent, and whammo! It's a screaming two-bagger down the left field line that sends Walker flashing around third and rolling home to lay up a 2-1 lead for the underdog Cards, with Dixon threatening from second. Changing Spreadbird's second baseman singles. Dixon digs in and drives for home, while St. Louis fans display a good imitation of bedlam as the Missouri hurler marks up another. In the 8th, Brasheen replaces Dixon with 2 Bo Sox on base. Tom DiMaggio gets his eye on one and splashes a hot double off the right center field wall, tying the score at 3-3 when he drives in Russell and Metcovich. In the Cards half, Slaughter singles to lead off a frame that dims Boston's hopes for the championship. Walker smacks a sizzling double that puts the lid on it when Slaughter romps from first to home on shortstop Pesky's delayed throw and sends the Cards into a 1-run lead with a slide that makes baseball.
This brought up a Red Sox pinch hitter, Tom McBride, batting for pitcher Johnson. Brackeen eyes the batter carefully. There goes a screwball pitch. McBride grounds to Shane Beast, and Higgins is forced out at second to end the ball game, with the St. Louis Cardinals winning the 7th and final game of the 1946 World Series by a score of 4-3. It was the 6th time in their 9 World Series appearances since 1926 that baseball's highest honor has gone to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cards also distinguished themselves by winning for the 4th time in a series that went the limit.
In 1936 at Columbus, Georgia, after being rebuked by manager Eddie Dyer, Enos Slaughter vowed never to loaf on a ball field again. His newfound commitment made him one of the game's greatest hustlers. Nicknamed Country, Slaughter used a flat, level swing to become a consistent 300 batter and an outstanding contact hitter in clutch situations. He achieved instantaneous fame for his mad dash home from first base on Harry Walker's double, which won the 1946 World Series for the Cardinals over the Red Sox. Enos Slaughter was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1985.
Harry the Cat Brackeen was born in Broken Bow, Oklahoma on October 14, 1914. He's been a lifelong resident of Oklahoma and lives in Ada. He spent nearly a dozen years in the major leagues, nearly all of those with the St. Louis Cardinals. He won 132 games against just 92 losses. That .589 winning percentage and 2.92 career earned run average are among the best in baseball over the past 75 years. His best season was 1948. He was 20-7 for the Cardinals that year, led the league with 7 shutouts. He also led the National League that year in winning percentage, earned run average, and strikeouts. But his real strength was getting up for that big game, and he never had any problem with that.
Always got teed up for every game. I think if you don't get teed up a little bit in every game you get in, that you don't like the game that much.
He pitched in 3 World Series with the Cardinals in 1943, 44, and 46. In 1946, he almost single-handedly beat the Boston Red Sox. He won 3 games against Ted Williams and company, the first left-hander ever to do that, and he threw a shutout as well. He finished with a 4-1 career World Series record. During that run in the 1940s, he was as good as any pitcher in baseball.
Harry Brackeen was a great pitcher in Cardinals history, but he didn't overpower you with his appearance. He was a 5'10" pitcher, and so he didn't have that presence that was a dominating appearance on the mound. But he really had this control. He struggled in the minor leagues for parts of 8 seasons, and it wasn't until he worked with a particular catcher that had patience with him and helped him learn how to think a game, as he said at one point. Between that and learning a new pitch, the screwball, so Brackeen had the screwball that broke one way, and then he also had his curveball that broke another way. Burkeen got the nickname the Cat for his ability to get off the mound and pounce on bunts. And it was one he's very proud of. He was drafted into the military service, but was not able to serve due to a foot injury or ailment that he had growing up, as we understand from his family. To be able to be known for his athleticism and grow into this great major league pitcher and to have the nickname the Cat is something that he was very proud of later in life. Harry Burkeen is the first left-handed pitcher in Major League history to have won 3 games in a single World Series, having completed this feat in 1946. Following Harry Burkeen's career, he was the pitching coach for the St. Louis Browns, and then they would later move to Baltimore and become the Baltimore Orioles. He was also the pitching coach for the 1966 Orioles, a great team that went on to the World Championship, having defeated the Dodgers in the World Series, and that was one of the great pitching staffs of all time. That was a real notch on his belt as a pitching coach, to be the pitching coach of such a great staff in baseball history.
Credited by his roommate Stan Musial as having the greatest pair of hands I've ever seen, Albert Red Schoendienst forged a 19-year career as a sleek second baseman with the Cardinals, Giants, and Braves. He led the National League in fielding percentage 6 times and also hit .300 or better on 5 occasions. As a manager, he twice piloted the Redbirds to the World Series. A regular at Cardinals games, he wore a Major League uniform for over 50 years and was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1989.
Marty Marion was one of the best shortstops of his era. He played 1,500 games for the Cardinals at that position over 11 seasons. He was the glue of the Cardinal infield, nicknamed Slats because of his long arms. If Gold Gloves had been awarded during his career, Marion would have won several. He played in 8 All-Star games. He was a better-than-average hitter for a shortstop. He played in 4 World Series with the Cardinals and hit .357 in the 43 series. In 1944, Marty was named the National League's most valuable player. He managed the Cardinals in 1951. In the 1952 and 53, he was the player manager of the St. Louis Browns. Marty also managed the Chicago White Sox for a couple of years before retiring. Longtime Cardinal fans remember Marty as the manager of the Stadium Club in the early years of Bush II. Marty died earlier this year. He was 94. We are proud to induct Marty Marion into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
Terry Moore played for the Cardinals from 1935 through 1948, but actually only played for 11 seasons. 3 of those years he gave up to military service in World War II. However, he played on 2 World Championship teams in 1942 and 1946, 2 of those great Cardinals clubs during the 1940s. He was named the captain of the Cardinals in the 1940s and led that club through what we consider some of those dynasty years in the 1940s. Terry was an outstanding defensive center fielder. Some consider him one of the greatest, if not the greatest, defensive center fielder in Cardinals history, which is really saying a lot when you think of the number of great defensive center fielders we've had. You think of Curt Flood, Jim Edmonds, Willie McGee. The list goes on and on. So really the compliment to his career, and he was a pretty good hitter as well, an outstanding gap-to-gap hitter, line drive, doubles hitter. He was a 4-time All-Star and just a leader of his teammates. When we talk about what he was on the field and what he was in the clubhouse and hearing some of those players talk about him, Red Schoendienst said he could do it all and he would lead by example. Terry Moore was the player that other players aspired to be, and we're proud to have him as one of our newest Cardinals Hall of Famers.
Terry Moore with the Cardinals from 1935 through 1948. 4th most in hits, runs, and home runs among Cardinals center fielders. 4 All-Star appearances. Captain of the Cardinals during the 1940s. Part of the 1942 and 1946 World Series champions.
So we're pleased to honor a man tonight who has many, many friends in his room. They kept coming up here all night long. Smokey Joe Cunningham. Joe signed with the Cardinals when he was 17 years old. He reached the big leagues in 1954 and made some noise by hitting 3 home runs in his first 2 games, including a pair off Warren Spahn. Joe was a first baseman, but the Cardinals had a guy wearing number 6 by the name of Musial who played first, so Joe was in the outfield and played it with great flair. He had a career year in 1959 when he hit .345 and finished second to Henry Aaron in the batting race. After his playing career, Joe spent several decades coaching in the Cardinal system and working for the Cardinals in the front office in various capacities. Maybe the most notable is the Doing It Right, Say No to Drugs program that Joe created. More than 250,000 grade school kids, 250,000 grade school kids have heard the message from Joe, Fred Bird, and some retired Cardinals. He's one of a kind, he's our kind of guy, and now he's in the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
Here's the pitch. Line drive out is into left field. Hit number 3,000. A run is scored. Musial around first. On his way to second with a double. The first man since Paul Weiner in 1942. Stan Musial has just gotten his 3,000 hit.
After 22 years as a St. Louis Cardinal, Stan Musial ranked at or near the top of baseball's all-time lists in almost every batting category. The dead-armed Class C pitcher became a slugging outfielder who topped the 300 mark 17 times and won 7 National League batting titles with his famed corkscrew stance and ringing line drives. A 3-time MVP, he played in 24 All-Star games. He was nicknamed the Man by Dodger fans for the havoc he wrought at Ebbets Field. Musial is still renowned for his skilled harmonica playing. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1969.
The Man.
St. Louis Cardinals, 1941, 1963. Holds many National League records. Among them, games played, 3,026. At bat, 10,972 times. 3,630 hits. Most runs scored, 1,949. Most runs batted in, 1,951. Total bases, 6,134. Led National League in total bases 6 years. Slugging percentage, 6 years. Most valuable player, 1943, 1946, 1948. Lifetime batting average, .331. I can only be describing one man, Stan Musial.
Stan grew up in Donora, Pennsylvania. He was an outstanding high school basketball and baseball player and almost did not become a Cardinal. Stan was offered a basketball scholarship to the University of Pittsburgh, and his father, a Polish immigrant, wanted his son to go to college. Stan wanted to play baseball, really wanted it.
Cardinal scout wanted to sign me, and he came up to our house 3 times, and my dad wouldn't want to sign, so I finally talked to my mother. I said, Mom, see if you can get Dad to sign my contract, because I was only about 17. Finally, he consented, but he was begrudgingly, he consented.
His minor league career started as a hard-throwing left-handed pitcher, but Stan hurt his shoulder diving for a ball while playing in the outfield, and his pitching career was over. That was good for Stan and great for the Cardinals because, much to the surprise of Cardinals owner Branch Rickey, Stan Musial could hit.
Mr. B. Schotten, Barney Schotten was known, an old player here and later a manager for me, and later a manager at Brooklyn, won a pennant. He was the manager of the Columbus Club, and at breakfast, and that morning when I had occasion to visit in the Columbus Club in Hollywood, Florida, he said to me, do you know about a batsman by the name of Musial? I said, I never heard of him. I know a pitcher, a left-hand pitcher. He said, sent here to pitch to your hitters for practice. He said, I want to show you where he hit a ball in this park out here. And that morning when we went out to the field, he showed me where he'd hit the ball on the bank of the railroad in right center over the fence. And I asked him, I said, did you see him hit it? And he said, he did. I said, if you hadn't seen it, you would hardly believe it. I said, I wouldn't. Well, I said, if you don't mind, I won't either.
In an era when the Cardinals had hundreds of players in their minor leagues, Stan sprinted through the system. In 1941, going all the way from a Class C team in Springfield to the major leagues. He played 12 games at the end of that season for the Cardinals, had 6 hits in a doubleheader, and hit .426. So at age 21, he was in the big leagues to stay. Stan was an outfielder for the Cardinals, but when the Redbirds' regular first baseman was struggling,
Eddie Dyer asked me one day if I would take first base for several days till we got Sisler squared away. Never did play first base, but if he wanted me to, I'd try for a few days and see how it worked out. I stayed there 10 years.
hitting .331 over 22 seasons, Stan had few equals. One of them was a guy named Williams.
Through the years, they knew that either you or I were going to lead the league. Of course, you know.
I got to say, you were my target every year. I said, whatever he hits, I got to hit it good or better. And I also told my son the other day, and this is the truth. Yeah. John Henry, my young son's here. I said, John Henry, I said, when you see Mr. Musial again, I said, you tell him that your father said that if there was a better hitter than he was, it was Stan Musial. That's right. That is right.
One of Stan's most memorable days, May 5th, 1954, the day he hit 5 home runs in a doubleheader. Stan appeared in 24 All-Star games, was great to the end, hitting .330 at age 42. Consistent? Well, Stan had 1,851 hits at home, 1,851 hits on the road. He had 2 hits in his last game, the last one past a young Cincinnati second baseman named Pete Rose.
Take a good look, fans. Take a good look. This might be the last time at bat in the major leagues. Remember the stance and the swing. The pitch to Musial. A hot shot on the ground into right field. A base hit. Here's throw around third. Here's a no score. The Cardinals lead 1-0. Listen to the crowd. Listen to the crowd.
He is St. Louis. He is the greatest Cardinal. Here stands baseball's perfect warrior. Here stands baseball's perfect knight.
Now I want to thank the wonderful, fine people of St. Louis. The spirit of St. Louis is here. For my mother and the Musial family for making me a Cardinal forever. Thank you.
The St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame proudly welcomes the athlete of the century, Stanley Frank Musial.
The Yankees are on their toes as Downing tries a changeup. Boyer smashes it deep to left field. It might be out of here. It could be. It is a home run. A grand slam that's fair by only 5 or 6 feet. Warwick, Flood, and Grote cross the plate ahead of Boyer, and the Cardinals take a 4-3 lead. Ken Boyer, joyously saluted by his mates, is only the 9th player in history to hit a grand slam homer in World Series competition. 6 of them have been Yankees. In the 10th inning, with Bill White on third base and Dick Grote on first base and 1 out, Nicholson pitches to McCarver, and Tim takes a vicious cut. It's a long one, way back. Mantle heading for the stands and might be out of there. It is a home run. And the Cardinals jump ahead 5-2 as 3 runners score. The homer was his 3rd hit of the game, his 8th of the series, sending his average soaring to .471. McCarver talks with Gibson, who still needs 1 more out, and the troublesome Bobby Richardson is up. But the weary Gibson reaches back for something extra. Richardson pops up. Down Maxville gathers it in. The Cardinals are the new world champions. Gibson, Boyer, and McCarver join in a big bear hug. Now it's one huge swirling mass of players and fans.
wild enthusiasm, which is a tribute to baseball's unflagging popularity. This is one day St. Louis will never forget. It was a stirring triumph by a Cardinal team reminiscent of the Gas House game. It had some of the speed of that colorful team of the 30s, some of the pitching, and all of its great heart and courage. And that, in the end, carried them through to baseball's highest honor, the World Championship.
I'm David Boyer, son of Ken Boyer. It's all he ever wanted to do was be a Cardinal. He was so blessed, and mentioned it on many occasions, how blessed he was to be able to start his career and play most of his career with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was born in 1931, so it was during the Depression, and they lived in a little town of 250 people called Alba, Missouri. It's down around Joplin and Carthage. And so he had 6 brothers and 7 sisters. There were 7 boys and 7 girls, thus the number 14. You know, they came from very, very meager background.
It's a World Series for St. Louis, and everyone converges on Busch Stadium.
So in 1964, the Cardinals played the Yankees, and my dad was the third baseman for the Cardinals. My dad's younger brother, Cleet, played third base for the Yankees. And a reporter came up to my grandmother and said, okay, you got a son playing on the Cardinals, you got a son playing on the Yankees, who are you rooting for? She said, I'm rooting for the third baseman.
The bases are loaded with only 1 out. Boyer, who led the major leagues in runs batted in this year. There's a drive way back. It might be. It could be. It is a home run. Listen to the crowd.
Like I said, he never talked about his accomplishments. He always just let his bat and his glove do that. But, you know, I could not have been prouder, you know. They were behind 3-0. He hits that grand slam. They end up winning 4-3. And that turned the series around. That put him back on track. He was the guy that lived next door. He was the guy who excelled in his job, but he didn't want to be viewed as anything other than a person just like you or myself.
The captain. Kenny Boyer grew up dirt poor on a farm in Alba, Missouri, one of 14 kids. He was a good basketball and baseball player in high school, and the Cardinals signed him as a pitcher after a tryout at Sportsman's Park. He signed for $6,000 and gave half of it to his father to pay some bills. It turned out Kenny was a much better hitter than pitcher. After some time in the minors and 2 years in the Army, he made the majors with the Cardinals at age 24 in 1955. He played some outfield, but excelled at third base. He won 5 Gold Gloves, was the National League's MVP in 1964. Boyer was named team captain because of his leadership, outstanding play, and desire to win. Without question, his career highlight was the 1964 World Series, when he drove in all 4 runs in a 4-3 Cardinal win over the Yankees with his grand slam off Al Downing at Yankee Stadium.
Bases loaded. 1 out. There's a drive way back. It might be. It could be. It is a home run. Listen to the crowd. Kenny Boyer, a long-time due in this World Series, just became the 9th player to hit a grand slammer.
Ironically, his brother Cleet was playing for the Yankees, also hit a home run in that series. After 11 seasons with the Cardinals, he played for 3 other teams, the Mets, White Sox, and Dodgers, then returned to St. Louis to manage the Cardinals. Kenny died of cancer in 1982 at age 51. The Cardinals retired his number 14. We fondly remember the captain and honor him with induction into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
With 1 away in the 5th, Gibson hammers a long drive to center. The ball lands on a ledge just to the right of the flagpole. It's a home run. Homers aren't unique for Bob, but this is his first in the World Series. St. Louis scores again in the inning and leads 4-0. Julian Javier comes up with none out. Lonborg bears down, but Javier slams one to left. It's a home run, and Yastrzemski just watches. It's the 13th home run in the series by both clubs, and this one is a crusher. McCarver and Shannon score ahead of Javier in a joyous parade that gives St. Louis a commanding 7-1 margin. Javier gets a big reception from his mates. Now, 1 out from victory, Gibson makes a supreme effort and Scott strikes out. The Cardinals win. They're the new world champions. And Bob Gibson, with his 3rd victory, has brought them through in the decisive 7th game, even as he did in 1964 against the New York Yankees. It was another spectacular series, with the Red Sox fighting their way back after being down 3-1, with record-shattered and glittering heroes on both sides to underline once again that for sheer drama and thrills, the World Series is unmatched anywhere.
Bob Gibson, who set a new National League record for earned run average this year, 1.12. The 2-2 pitch to McCullough. He struck him out. Born in Baltimore. The 2-2 pitch. Struck him out on a good curveball. The 1-2 pitch to Cash. Struck him out on a blazing fastball. Oh, look at that curveball. Tigers have 2 down, nobody on. And he struck out the side, and Gibson has now struck out 5. 3-2 pitch. Strike 3. He's out. Strike out for the pitcher and a put out for the catcher. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 in the outside corner. 8. The 2-strike pitch is strike 3. They won't get to in this inning. 9 strikeouts for Bob Gibson. Stanley swings and strikes out. Lives in Detroit, Michigan. He struck him out swinging. 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. The count on him, 2 strikes and the ball. He struck him out swinging. Got him! Listen to the crowd. Was his 15th strikeout. Once again, a standing ovation. A new World Series record. He got him! Struck him out! Look at the scene on the field. McCarver, the first one. Now his infielders all over him. A new world's record of 17 strikeouts in 1 game.
There's a drive hit deep into right center field. This ball's hit a mile out there, and it is gone into the bleachers in deep right center field. Boy, Lou Brock hit that one a country mile. You don't see many of them, Kurt, hit into the bleachers in right center field here in Detroit. There's a drive into deep right center field that's well hit, and it is against the fence on the first hop. This might be an inside the park job. Let's watch it. Nope, they're going to hold him. Brock is being held at third base.
There's a smash into deep center. Northrup watches the ball sail over his head. This may clean the bases. 2 runs are in. Here's Gibson scoring. And Brock was all the way to third and goes back to second. Brock got into third. Thought he was going to get into a jam with Gibson. Was rounded third and held up just a bit.
Orlando Cepeda played and starred for 17 years in the major leagues. He played for the Cardinals in only 3 of those seasons, but what seasons they were. Orlando played most of his career on bad knees. In 1965, San Francisco manager Herman Franks put Orlando in the outfield. And diving for a ball, he injured his knee again. He begged to play first base. Franks said no. So in May of 1966, they traded him. Fortunately, Cepeda was traded to the Cardinals for pitcher Ray Sadecki. He injected life, enthusiasm, and fun into the team, and of course played first base. They called him the Baby Bull because his father in Puerto Rico was called the Bull. They also called him Cha-Cha. He brought his stereo equipment to the clubhouse and filled the place with salsa music. He was the clubhouse comedian and music director. The name of the team was unofficially changed to the Albertos. When Orlando, what he could also do was hit. He was an impact player, hit .325, hammered 25 homers, drove in 111, and helped the Cardinals, considered to be one of the best teams in baseball history that year, beat Boston in the World Series. Orlando was unanimously named the National League's most valuable player, the first unanimous choice in league history. With Cepeda at first base, the Cardinals were in the World Series again in 1968. He had 2 home runs in that series, but the Cardinals lost to Detroit. Orlando's stay in St. Louis ended in early 1969 when he was traded. He traded to Atlanta for Joe Torre. But his 3 seasons wearing the Cardinal uniform were a joy for Cardinal fans. Orlando still works for the San Francisco Giants as a Goodwill Ambassador, and in 1999 was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. And tonight we remember Cha-Cha, and delighted to have him back and induct him into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
A high pop up to the infield. Bud Harrelson coming in, giving way to Joe Torre, and Torre has to come all the way over by first base on the gallop to take it, the wind blowing it toward first.
Let's watch it again. Here's the Mercer swing. Pop-up that started off near third base. McCovey just gave up on the ball. Look at Harrelson, thinks he's got a shot. McCovey still hasn't moved. Harrelson saying, somebody come here, where are you? And Torre comes into the picture looking
Gibson has accomplished just about everything a pitcher can in his brilliant career, but he has never pitched a no-hitter. He has one going here at Three Rivers tonight in the 7th inning. Jose Pagan, the batter. Bouncing ball right back to Gibson. Lob to first. That's 1 down in the 7th. Hernandez, the batter. 2 strikes on him. The stretch by Gibson. Swing and a miss. That's 2 down in the 7th. Bob Gibson working on a no-hit, no-run game. And the pitch. Line drive. Speared by Maxwell at short. Bob Gibson is just 6 outs away from a no-hit, no-run game here at Three Rivers Stadium. 9th inning, and the fans are on their feet in anticipation. Bob Gibson working on a no-hit, no-run game. Willie Scargill standing between Gibson and the no-hitter. A pitch, swing and a miss. He's done it. A no-hit, no-run game.
The world knows Joe Torre for his pinstripes. St. Louis knows him as the 1971 MVP.
His pitch to Torre. Swung on and a shot to right center field. The Cardinals might win with that one.
Torre joined the Cardinals as a player in 1969 after being traded for one-time NL MVP Orlando Cepeda. Torre played 6 seasons with the Cardinals, and in the 1990s he managed parts of 6 seasons as well.
When you walk into a Cardinal clubhouse and you're part of that team now, everybody embraces you, and you know, it's a feeling that doesn't go away and you don't want it to.
That feeling is one which humbles Torre even to this day. Arguably one of the most decorated baseball men alive, but he still pauses to admire a room full of red jackets.
I feel a little insignificant. I look around and there's Red and Gibby and Ozzie and, you know, and Whitey, and these guys all celebrated championships, you know, here, and I didn't get the chance to do that.
While he might feel insignificant, Torre's accomplishments are far from it. After leaving the Cardinals, Torre managed the Yankees and the Dodgers, and since 2011 he's been MLB's chief baseball officer. But even all these years later, he still has a soft spot in his heart for St. Louis.
You always felt like you were royalty. You go around town and people just think you're something special, and you know they make you feel like you are.
Reporting for Cardinals Insider, I'm Brett McMillan.
The pitch coming, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. And that's 3 going. The pitch is a strike. The throw. He is there. He did it. 105 for Lubra.
Over 17 seasons with the Cardinals, Bob Gibson won 20 games 5 times and established himself as the very definition of intimidation, competitiveness, and dignity. One of the best athletes to ever play the game, the ex-Harlem Globetrotter posted a 1.12 ERA in 1968, the lowest figure since 1914. His astounding success made him a factor in convincing baseball officials to lower the pitching mound the next year. Known as a premier big-game pitcher, Gibson's World Series exploits include 7 consecutive wins and 17 strikeouts in a game. Gibson was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1981.
Gibby. The best pitcher in St. Louis Cardinal history? The answer is easy. Bob Gibson. Gibby thrilled Redbird fans for 17 seasons. He was the definition of intimidation and competitiveness. He asked no quarter and gave none.
To me, Bob Gibson, and I've watched a lot of football, a lot of baseball, to me, hands down, the greatest competitor, the best athlete that I have ever seen.
Gibson won 20 games 5 times and 19 in 2 other seasons. He won Cy Young Awards, MVP trophies, and 9 Gold Gloves. He won 7 consecutive World Series games. The 1968 season was one for the ages. He had 13 shutouts and 28 complete games and posted a record that still stands, an earned run average of 1.12. At one stretch, he allowed 2 earned runs in 92 innings. In the 1968 World Series against Detroit, he set a series record that still stands when he struck out 17 Tigers. He won 251 regular season games. Gibson was the second pitcher in history to rack up 3,000 strikeouts. One of the best athletes ever to play the game. He had 24 career home runs, plus 2 more in World Series play. Gibby was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1981. The St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame proudly welcomes Bob Gibson.
Reisleben looks. He's going. The pitch is high. The throw is safe. He stole it. The throw got by the shortstop, and Brock has done it. They would have thrown him out, but the shortstop couldn't handle the bad throw. And this is it, folks. Brock has now stolen 893. All of his teammates out of the dugout, onto the field, and all of the reporters, newspaper people, photographers on the field, much reminiscent of the night he broke Maury Will's record.
Another left-handed batter. The outfield is straight away. Reaches in. So is Hernandez. Here's the pitch from Force to Boa. A swing and a ground ball to third. Reach has it. Throws. No-hitter. Oh! And Force has won his 3rd game of the year, and he is mobbed by his teammates. Don't hurt him. 54 years, and we finally see it here in St. Louis. It's been 54 years since they've had a no-hitter, and Bob Force, who's 3-0, has just taken care of that. We can do it. Well, he did it. What a thrilling moment. How about that, Bob? Wasn't that something? That's incredible. Just incredible. Super performance, Jack. Just an outstanding 9th inning performance. 3 tough guys to get, and he got them all. The entire club is on the mound. Bob Force hasn't even gotten off the pitching mound yet. The entire club out there congratulating him. Everybody on their feet here. Bob Force has just pitched the no-hitter. There's a lot of hugging going on there. All the players, all the coaches, the manager, the press, the photographers. And now listen to the hand as Force finally makes it off the mound toward the dugout. What a thrilling afternoon here at Busch Stadium.
In center field, but I'm sure that's why Tommy Lasorda changed outfield.
Lynn swings through it. Base runner going. Through. And Richie Zisk is thrown out by Ted Simmons after the top half of the 1st inning. 2-0 American League.
The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Hit off the pitcher. To the 3rd baseman. No play. Base hit. 3,000 for Lou Brock.
It's so typical of the man, Jack. He's knocked down on the pitch before, and then he turns around and hits a line drive off the pitcher that knocked him down.
Pandemonium here at the ballpark.
Lou. The Cardinals have made hundreds of player trades over the years, but one stands out above the rest. Lou Brock was playing for the Chicago Cubs in 1964. The Cubs were losing patience with his development, so they traded him at the June 15th deadline to the Cardinals in a deal that included pitcher Ernie Broglio, who had won 18 games for the Cardinals in 1963. A heist for the Cubs, most thought. The Cardinals were in 6th place at the time, 3 games under 500. With Lou in the lineup, 4 months later, the Cardinals were defeating the New York Yankees in the World Series. Brock was the engine that made the Cardinals go. The base burglar, they called him. Blessed with great speed and even greater base running instincts, he broke the single-season stolen base record with 118 swipes in 1974.
He is going. The pitch is a strike. The throw. He is there. He did it. 105 for Lubrock.
Takes a good lead, a big lead. Reisleben looks. He's going. The pitch is high. The throw is safe. He stole it. The throw got by the shortstop, and Brock has done it. They would have thrown him out, but the shortstop couldn't handle the bad throw. And this is it, folks. Brock has now stolen 893.
But Lou was more than a base stealer. He hit .293 in 19 seasons, amassing 3,023 hits. He was the first player in history to steal 50 bases and hit 20 home runs in the same season. His number 20 has been retired by the Cardinals. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1985. And who can forget the Brockabrella? The St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame welcomes Lewis Clark Brock. Simba. Ted Simmons was a top draft choice of the Cardinals in 1967. He made his major league debut 2 years later at the age of 19 and was the Cardinals' full-time catcher by 1971. He became one of the greatest hitting catchers of all time. Simmons played 11 full seasons with the Cardinals, then was traded to Milwaukee and played against the Cardinals when the Redbirds won the '82 World Series. He did what he could, hitting 2 home runs against the Cardinals in that series. Ted Simmons was tough. He often played hurt and always played hard. He was an outstanding hitter. 7 times he hit above 300. 6 times reached 20 home runs, and 8 times exceeded 90 RBIs. He also hammered 483 doubles. Ted ranks second all time in hits by a catcher to Ivan Rodriguez. He ranks in the top 5 for catchers in 8 categories, and his RBI total of 1,389 is second among catchers in history. In a recently published list of eligible catchers not in the Hall of Fame, Ted Simmons is listed second behind Joe Torre. He played in 8 All-Star games. Ted finished his playing career after 5 years in Milwaukee and 3 in Atlanta. But to us, he'll always be a Cardinal. After playing, Ted was the general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates and worked in player development and as a scout and bench coach for several teams. Now he takes his place in the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
Down, sacks Jam. Lavelle at the belt. Checks. Brummer's stealing home. He is safe, and the Cardinals win. Brummer stole home. The dugout comes out, and they congratulate him. You wouldn't believe it.
To right center field. Butler on the run. Reaches up. Can't make the catch. Green around third. Comes in to score, and the Cardinals lead 2 games to nothing.
Boy, he hit the ball.
They scored a single. Green comes in to score. Butler couldn't make the play, and the Cardinals come from behind. Watch it again. Butler going back, reaching up, almost made the catch. But Oberfeld's teeing off to right center. Butler just missing it. And the Cardinals, as we take a look at another view of it from center field, reaching up. It gets by him, and the Cardinals are 1 game away from the World Series. Come from behind in the seesaw game. They led 1-0, trailed 2-1, trailed 3-1 in the 6th, got a run in the 6th, get 1 in the 8th to tie it, and win it in the 9th as 53,408 rock to the strains of celebration at Busch Stadium. The St. Louis Cardinals.
3-2 on the way. Swung on, hit high into the air. Left center field. McGee coming over. Smith coming over.
Smith makes a catch, and the Cardinals are the pennant winners of the National League. Chambliss flies to left, and look at the Cardinals. And our congratulations to them. Whitey Herzog and his gang deserved it. They had a great record. They won the East. They've beaten the Braves 3 straight, and they go on to play the Milwaukee Brewers on Tuesday.
Now the infield for the Brewers, tight at the corners, back up the middle looking for the double play. McGee, who can run, he's tough to double up. 1 out. Hit high and deep to right field, and Moore going back. McGee will touch them all. A 3-run home run for rookie Willie McGee, and the Cardinals jump in front 3-0.
Might recall in the League Championship Series, after Willie McGee was knocked down, he hit a home run.
His first World Series hit.
McGee should try and drop a bunt down. Look out.
Oh, that's 2 for McGee. Another homer.
What a day that kid's having. Hit a fastball for the first home run. Looked like something off-speed pitch. He may have thrown a change-up slider.
I thought I noticed after the first pitch way inside, he backed him off the plate. He didn't get quite up to the plate that time. Got the ball inside, and he just let it have it. Listen to him.
Let's see the location. A little bit up in the strike zone, but he still hit it very hard.
Willie McGee, 4 home runs all season and 2 home runs tonight.
There's the shift. Outfielder to the left side with his backs to the warning track.
Well hit, way back. Listen to the reaction. Oh, boy. What a catch he made, Willie McGee. Willie McGee, with the bat and with the glove, has been a one-man show tonight.
The potential of McGee unlimited. We saw him go deep to the fence to Rob Mauler. This ball is over the yellow line, in the seats. Might have gotten the Brewers back into it. Look at him time that ball.
Great leaping ability. That's like a basketball player going up for a rebound off the fast break.
High fly ball, center field. Thomas is going back. It'll score at least 1. I say 1 because Ozzie Smith can run. Gorman Thomas falls. They're going to try to score 2. Here comes the relay throw. It is not in time.
Wasn't that something? That wind just kept pushing him back to the warning track, and we have talked about the Cardinals' speed. They showed it in Game 2 on the turf, and Ozzie Smith gives another RBI, sacrifice fly, 2 RBIs, a very unusual official scoring decision that you see one time a year, maybe once every couple of years. Gorman just keeps backpedaling, slips right here as the wind really fooled him, blowing much stronger up high. Watch out, he's going home all the way, Joe. All the way, and Chuck Hiller says, keep on coming. He picked it up, he really did it on his own, and Hiller says, here you go.
Tony, that's why I said they're going to score 1 easily, because you could see him really cranking up the engines at second base. He was ready to go, and once Gorman Thomas went down, he was able to score.
The Brewers, who are a big power team, it seems as if some of them are trying to go up there and hit a 6-run home run.
Up the middle, Smith gets a double play. Oh, my.
He somehow fielded the ball, kept his eye in the bag, touched it with his right foot, and turned it into a double play. This man has tremendous. It's really LaPointe's ball, but for a poor foul. Watch Smith come in your picture. Hers there, he steals it from him while his right foot is on the bag. Off balance throw, wacko, stops another rally.
That's incredible. The magic of the Wizard of Oz.
And Charlie Moore came up limping after this. We're right now, we're on Ozzie Smith because it's so brilliant, but he limped off the field. I don't know if he jammed his foot. He never thought that ball was going to get caught. He was going to start making his turn to go to third. He thought it was through. What tremendous balance and instincts.
Now the crowd, of course, wanting the game to progress, but they can't get too unhappy because at this point they're going to have to stop play or go a full 9 anyway. It's an official game. High drive, deep right
first in the major leagues in home runs. Muscle up tonight.
Keith Hernandez set a rocket over the boards in right center field. His first World Series home run. The 2-run blast made it 7-0 and knocked Don Sutton out of the game. Line into right field. Kerr scores. Green scores. It's 10-0 St. Louis.
Determined on the hard. Obergefell, deep at third, long throw. It is low. He gets him. Nice play by Hernandez at first base. 1-2-3 for Milwaukee. High fly ball, left center field. Willie McGee taking charge. Makes the play, and Andahar works a perfect second inning. He's retired with 6 men that he has faced.
3-2.
There we saw proof of whether or not Andujar's leg as well. He got over there in a hurry with no trace of a limp.
Ozzie Smith. And Joaquin Andujar has retired the first 9 men that he has faced. Popped up. Darrell Porter. And the inning is over. To Moore. Kerr has to hurry. Gets him. And the inning is over. Up the middle. Great stop by Kerr, and he gets the out.
He looked a little bit uncomfortable after he released that ball.
Gets him.
Might have been the 4th ball.
They've got the Brewers going in a 2-run inning. Andujar. On the comebacker, the inning is over.
But also a very emotional one. 2 former high school teammates, McClure and Hernandez, facing each other. 2 RBIs by Hernandez.
All on his birthday. Ramsey making it to third, Hernandez at first. Infield back. Lined into right field. Ramsey scores. It's 4-3 St. Louis.
Suter from the belt to the plate. A swing and a miss. And that's the winner. That's the winner. A World Series winner for the Cardinals. Porter throws his mask into the air. The players converge around the mound. The police arrive on the scene. The canine patrol and the mounted patrol. Some fans manage to get on the field, but they needn't do that, and they won't be out there very long. The Cardinals have won the game 6-3. The Cardinals have won the National League pennant, and the Cardinals have won the 1982 World Series. The final score 6-3.
Armed with a revolutionary new pitch, the split-fingered fastball, Bruce Sutter was one of the top relief pitchers of his era. Playing with the Cubs, Cardinals, and Braves, the 6-time All-Star led the National League in saves 5 times, and his 300 career saves were 3rd on the all-time list when he retired. He won the National League Cy Young Award in 1979, becoming only the 3rd relief pitcher at the time to be so honored. In Game 7 of the 1982 World Series, Sutter recorded the final 6 outs against the Brewers to give the Redbirds their first World Championship since 1967. Bruce Sutter was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2006.
But in September, the book wasn't closed yet. Bob Forsch, who had struggled much of the season, had a memorable night against the Expos as he wrote a new page in the Cardinal record book.
Into the windup. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a ground ball. The third baseman Overfield has it. The throw. Forsch just pitched a no-hitter. It's the first time in the history of Cardinal baseball that a pitcher has 2 no-hitters. As Forsch no-hits Montreal, his teammates rush to the mound to congratulate him.
With 1 no-hitter already to his credit, Forsch knew he was on to something big.
About the 6th inning on, I thought I might have a chance. I was just hoping we get some runs so that, I could do a couple different things.
Anybody say anything in the dugout?
No, everybody's really quiet. Everybody's really superstitious, but nobody said anything.
Hats off to Bob Forsch, one of only 25 pitchers in baseball history to throw more than 1 no-hitter in a career.
Or wait in the hitting area. Oh, this could be in there down the right field line. Moreland won't get there, and it'll clear the bases. Cinderella scores. Lonnie Smith right behind him. Ozzie coming in. Willie McGee will be in with a triple. And it's 6-1 St. Louis. They also got the veteran first baseman Mike Jorgensen, who has played some in a St. Louis uniform as well. This might make it through the hole. Boa can't flag it down, and a 2-out single for McGee. Ken Daly trying to refine that curveball. If he gets that curveball back, he's going to help this ball club. 2-1 pitch is drilled to very deep right. Moreland for a look, but it is gone. Willie McGee is 3 for 4 with a single, a triple, and now a home run. Just thrown out, bang, bang. He's trying to pull the ball, but he doesn't. This could be a base hit. Matthews racing toward it, can't get to it. Ozzie Smith rounds third, and he'll score. Willie McGee has a 4-hit day, and he has hit for the cycle. Willie McGee had a triple in the second, a single in the fourth, a homer in the sixth, and now a double in the 10th. 6 RBIs for Willie McGee. Last one hit for the cycle. Was it Lou Brock for this Cardinal team?
Swing and a one-hop shot. Diving play by Ozzie. Long throw, you wouldn't believe it. Unbelievable. You just have to be here to see it. There's 45,000 plus, and they're giving Ozzie a standing ovation. Must have dived 10 feet to catch that ball. Then righted himself and threw him out. He is unbelievable.
Coleman stealing, the pitch of the strike, the throw, safe, and now he's going to be out. He breaks for the plate, and he's caught in a rundown, trying to get back to third base. And now he's going to score. Nobody covers the plate. Cardinals lead 1-0.
He got up and just continued on. We'll have a tremendous argument, but the third base umpire, the rookie Scott Grinder, now McGee's going to score. Nope, time call. They send him back. How about that great move? You talk about tremendous instincts.
Look at that.
He knew he couldn't get back to the base, so he just headed for the next. Watch this development. We'll replay it for you. Just tremendous instincts by the Cardinal rookie Vince Coleman. He slides past the base. Safe, says the umpire. Now he's off the base. Say can't tag him. He just gets up and goes home. Gets in the rundown. He'd have never gotten back to the base. Now watch this. The catcher runs by him, and there's no one covering home. He just scoots on in. There's the record. 73 stolen bases. And I wonder if they'll give him a stolen base.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. It might.
We'll have to, I don't know what that one is.
In the press box, they're all looking at one another over there, and a little confused, I think.
It's a double steal. So there's number 73, the record, and 74, all in the same movement. It'll be 2 stolen bases all at once.
Now the stretch. There goes Coleman. Tremendous jump. Virgil might as well eat the ball. He throws it anyhow. Stolen base. Vince Coleman, number 100.
They ought to stop the game and give him something, either the ball or the bag or whatever, but I guess they're not going to do anything.
There have been only 2 other National League players in the history of this great game who have stolen 100 or more bases in a season. Lou Brock and Maury Wills.
Ozzie Smith's Go Crazy Folks home run.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard.
Possible winning runs are in scoring position with 2 out and Jack Clark coming up. Meanwhile, in reading Lasorda talking about walk him and pitch to that blank Van Slyke. That's what he just muttered in the dugout. Do I walk him and pitch to that so-and-so? He's not going to walk him. It is Jack Clark and Tom Niedenfuhr going head-to-head, and the ball game on the line, and the crowd on its feet. One way or another, what a way to end. And he hits one to deep left field, and that one is gone. Lasorda got the answer to his rhetorical question. Something about, should I walk this guy and pitch to that so-and-so? Well, he didn't walk him. Look where all the players are. They want to make sure he touches home plate. Now they'll pick him up. They all backed off. That was a rule they made after Ozzie Smith hit the home run. There was some indecision as to whether he touched home plate, so Daniel made sure. Look at who was out there at home plate. Vince Coleman, number 29. Everybody's going to be out there. You would think that the fates would be a little kinder to one man in such a short amount of time. That's as slow a trip as Jack Clark ever made. I mean, he takes a lot of time. There's McGee.
Look at Socia just kneeling in disbelief. Now watch the players. Here they come out, but they made it up. They're not going to block home plate. They're all going to stop short.
Looks like it's going to be 4 out of 7. Popped up. We are this close to it. And St. Louis is going to the series. And they deserve it. They stopped Valenzuela. They spotted Hershiser, a 4-1 lead. They knocked him out. And they came back down 5-4 in the 9th inning against Tom Niedenfuhr. And that's enough tribute to the Cardinals. They did what they had to do and beat the Dodgers 7-5. A worthy champion of the National League and a worthy representative to go into the World Series. And the Dodgers come up a buck short. Jack Clark being mobbed, Greg Brock staring off into eternity, and we'll be back right after this.
2-1 the count. This is a very big pitch right here. And that's hit down the line in left field, and the Cardinals will take the lead as Clark scores, Landrum scores. They're waving Cedeno in. The throw to the plate is not in time. And the Cardinals lead it 4-2.
This has got to bring back memories of Game 4, the American League Championship Series, when Charlie Lebrand had a 1-0 lead going into the top of the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays scored 3, and now the Cardinals have scored 4 in the top of the 9th, and remember that graphic at the top of the inning.
It has not happened since 1939, a team coming from 2 or more runs down in the 9th inning. In the air to left center field, McGee. Boy, you don't see many better than that. That's the first shutout by a pitcher in the World Series since Bob Gibson in 1968.
And the fastball hit the deep left field, way back. Johnson to the wall, and it is out of here. A grand slam home run. And the Cardinals win it as Tommy Herr has hit a grand slam home run to win the ball game. The Cardinals now have won the first 2 games of this 3-game series. Here it is again.
First ball, fastball, and Tommy Herr sitting on that pitch. Orozco just buried with that fastball here in the bottom of the 10th inning. The hit by Pagnosi, the hit by Lake, and now the big one, the coup de grace.
Cardinals in the inning with 5 runs. On 4 hits, there was 1 walk, no one left on base, and the final score as Tommy Herr hits a grand slam home run in the bottom of the 10th inning with 2 men out. The Cardinals 12, the New York Mets 8. We'll be back and have the wrap-up in just 1 minute after this message.
Twice. Well, let's see. 12 times this year, 37 times in his career. So look out now if he feels like running. There he goes. The pitch, a strike, the throw on a bounce, too late. And that is number 100. 100 stolen bases for Vince Coleman. A remarkable weapon.
He got picked off the other night off second base because he was trying to get that extra step, but it's been just mentioned he'd rather run off second base than first. It's not even close. Lyon had a good ball to handle. Straight down, and here he comes. He's one of those guys that also picks up speed when he hits the dirt.
Some applause in the background. They put it up on the board. Stolen base number 100.
3-2 the count. A drive into deep left field. Back goes Leonard. Gone. At Busch, 4-0 St. Louis. Before the game, Kendall's little baby is 3 years old today, and he said, "Can you give her a happy birthday?" I said, "Well, give her a present." He said, "I will."
3-1 to Chili Davis. 2 out in the 9th. 6-0 St. Louis. High fly ball to shallow left. Vince Coleman, Minnesota bound.
Swing and a high fly ball to deep right field by Clark. It's gone, and he leads. Swing and goodbye, baby. Look at this thing go. Swing and a long one. Would you believe it? Another home run by Clark. Swing and a long one to left field. That's number 25. There she goes, way back there in left field. Swing and a long one, and we are tied. Swing and a long one. Good night, everybody. Good night. There's a high fly ball, and this ball is going to go, folks.
Goodbye.
Clark sends it out of here. That's way back. Swing a long one. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? Another home run by Clark against the Dodgers.
Clark sends it a long way to center. No question about it. And Clark, he's really tagged it.
Hey, goodbye, and Clark has done it again.
Look at that lead Coleman has. Here he comes. And he is safe.
The only thing I wanted to do was make my mom proud, and I figured if I worked really hard, then, you know, I could have a shot at being in the big leagues. And then you get to the big leagues, and now you're saying, okay, well, you want to be the best. And you kind of like admire guys that are there, and you see the niche that you had. And I thought that, you know, something that I want to put a label on myself was being a base stealer, which I had done for so many years in the minor leagues, where I stole 145 bases in A-ball, and then I went to AAA and stole 100 bases. And I feel that if I could continue to do those things at a big league level, it would really be more remarkable.
There he goes. The pitch, a strike, the throw on a bounce, too late. And that is number 100. 100 stolen bases for Vince Coleman.
Vince was the fastest guy I've ever seen in 2 steps. You know, he was at full speed in 2 steps, and he was he intimidated pitchers, and he made pitchers pitch uncomfortably when he got on base. And he was definitely the catalyst of those 80s teams.
Oh, he missed the base, but he's going to try it. He's going to try to come home. He's safe at third. He already touched the base. So now he's going to score. Nobody's there to cover home. He steals third base. He's safe.
An explosive personality and explosive speed. He played the game hard, and he played it. He had fun, and he was a terrific teammate to be around. I mean, guys on the other team, he'd drive you crazy because he had so much energy. You'd think, hey, you know, kind of simmer down here. But his ability to bring that energy level up that he did for himself affected everybody else on the team. It brought the energy level up for the rest of the guys. Some guys that were good players became better players.
Slammed, and what a grab by Kruk. They get one coming home to score. He is out, and no, he drops the ball. Coming in to score is Langford on the out at second base, and the Cardinals win it. As he bowls over Dalton, who had the out, but then the ball was jarred loose. And St. Louis has won it 7-6 on an incredible turn of events. The rookie Langford gambled and won. Kruk a great play on the shot. And then kind of late reaction by Dickie Thon. And Langford just kept coming. Here it is.
Boy, Dalton really took a jolt here. This was a bullet. Kruk saved this with a tremendous play.
See looks up, looking, and he doesn't pay attention to the runner at third.
The throw got there.
He still had him. He's out if he hangs on to the ball, but the ball is jarred loose.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, he really gave him a jolt.
Slot, he's going to drive in more runs, even though Langford does have 58 RBIs.
Then he hits one down the line, and he can fly. It'll be at least a double. Over there to field it is carry on. He makes a big turn at second and holds. Third with a double. And another one sliced to left field.
Yesterday afternoon's games.
Ground ball down the line, hit by Ray Langford, and he has another extra base hit. In the corner, he should have a triple. And he does. It's hard to do, the cycle.
Well, he hits one deep to center. Back is McReynolds. Out of here. A home run for Langford.
My mouth.
Wow.
The cycle. A single, a double, a triple, and a home run.
And a bunt in the air, and that's it. So Mitch Webster trying to surprise and bunt for a base hit, popped it up. Lee Smith gets his 35th save and the 300th of his career. The Cardinals sweeping the Dodgers for the first time in '89.
Ninth inning, Lee Smith bears down. Bounce towards the middle of the infield. Ozzie over. He makes the throw. He got him! And Lee Smith has nailed down the save, his 46th of the year. What a year for Lee Smith. He sets a new National League record on a year when he passed the 300 save marker.
I tell you, that is close to being obscene. 28 complete games and a 1.12 ERA. On the right field line, a long way to go. Benzinger can't get it. He runs by the ball. Ozzie Smith with hit number 2,000, and he stands at third with a triple. History right here for Ozzie Smith. I think that picture tells it all. Congratulations, Ozzie. There goes Harris on a ground ball. Alicea to second for one. The double play. What a double play by Ozzie Smith. Oh, mercy. Lenny Harris is going, bearing down on Ozzie Smith. Alicea up in the air. Harris tries to roll block him out of there, and there it is. What a double play. You're not going to see any better. I'll guarantee you that. Look at that play. Look where Sochi is. He's almost marveling at the double play himself.
1-2 pitch now from Worrell. Blows it by him with a fastball. Out of there. What a pitch. And a double play ball. Thank you very much. They turn it in. The Cardinals get this victory 5-1.
2-0 pitch to Whit. That is a smash into left center field. Way back and a grand slam. Mark Whitten, it's 4-0 St. Louis. The fourth grand slam of the year by the Cardinals.
Home runs, 79 RBIs for Big Mark Whitten. They have come out swinging.
Whitten is 1 for 2. And he corks it into right center. That ball back of the track might go. He has hit another home run. And it is 8-2. And he has driven in 7 of the runs. That's number 19 for him. And it gives him 78 runs batted in.
That's 20 Jack, 20 home runs now and 82 RBIs.
Oh, into right field. Did he do it again? At the wall, gone! A 3-run homer for Witten, and the Cincinnati fans love it. What a night! 3 home runs for Mark Witten, and a total of 10 RBIs in this game.
21 home runs, 85 RBIs, and Bernie Gilkey, why did you take that one away from him?
Runner at first, 1 out, 2-0 to Witten. Into center field! Did he? Yes! His 4th home run of the game. He has 12 RBIs. 15-2. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. A grand slam, 2 3-run home runs, and a 2-run shot. Unbelievable. And he does it against Dibble here in the 9th.
And look, it almost looks like it's a defensive swing out reaching, but this time he has a little better velocity to supply some of the distance for him. Loves to get extended. Look at it, almost off the end of the bat.
Nice play by the cameraman down by the Cardinal dugout. What a night. This has all been worth it.
Oh, sure it has. Unbelievable. Look at
a curtain call in Cincinnati.